Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on March 28th, 2018. If you want to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 10, 33, 45, 53, and 56. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I'll transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 16 orange, 15 green, 14 blue, and 9 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so just a couple weeks ago, this 9 for the purple was up to 15. Okay, so that's how much these numbers could change. Okay, so over here to the right is 214. This tells me how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings right here. Okay, so out of this 214 drawings, 114 have come up a 3-color combination. 75 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 21 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 4 times out of 214 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number right here, this number 2, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there's 3 purple numbers and 2 blue for 2 colors total. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to predict correctly what the next number is going to be. Okay, so again, more than half the time, it's a 3-color combination. Okay, so, but the overall strategy for me is this. Okay, this game is all about reducing the numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. Okay, only 5 numbers can come up as winners. Okay, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the ones that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so to help me do that, I'm going to turn to where hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no purple numbers will be coming up. Okay, so the reason why is because it only represents 9 numbers for this drawing. Okay, and the fact that it just had 3 numbers come up in the last drawing. Okay, so purple has been kind of hot lately. Okay, so I just think that it's time to cool off, and I just don't think that any purple numbers will be coming up. So here's an example of no purple numbers. Okay, so you can see that it was orange, green, 2 red, and an orange. Okay, again, no purple there. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen again. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so you can read down here the color code and no purple numbers to it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. So In other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? And how this works is up at the very top here. This is the master for each individual number, okay? And then over to this far right here, these are the numbers that just came up. Again, it was the 10, 33, 45, 53, and 56, okay? So that comes out to be a 4-group combination, okay? So I'm going to reduce this down so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, and what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5 for one reason. When I go back into history, it's easier to count. I could go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Okay, but another reason, the main reason is that my theory is if there's a lot of hits within these 5 drawings for this group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? Or vice versa. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no 50 numbers will be coming up. And the reason why is because it already has 4 hits within the 50s already, okay? And I still got 2 more drawings to go, all right? So having 4 hits is really, really good as I go through the averages of things, okay? So I just think that it's hit its limit, okay? And I just don't think that any more 50 numbers will be coming up within the next 2 drawings. So I'm going to eliminate the 50 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so another way I can use this is I'm going to blow this back up. Okay, so I could just highlight the 22 here, okay? And I could go down and I could see what colors have come up in the past, okay? So I could go down through and again, I could see what colors have come up and will not come up, okay? So if an orange has never come up and the 21 or the 22 is in orange, then maybe I'll consider that 22 just because it's never been orange before. Okay, so another way of using it is I try to guess what this next number will be here. Okay, so most of the time it comes up a 4, okay, 4-group combination, and then a 3-group combination runs a close second, okay, and then every once in a while a 5 will pop up, okay, and a 2 would pop up as well. 2, here's a 2 right here, and this hardly ever comes up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that this next drawing is a 3-group combination. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so either a 3 or a 4 works for me. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far, okay? Again, with no purple numbers from the color code, and now no 50 numbers from the individual numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is, again, I bet $3 that no purple numbers will come up from the color code, and now I'm going to parlay that bet with saying that no 50 numbers are going to come up from the individual numbers, okay? And I'm just going to keep on parlaying more bets on here, okay? and really reduce the numbers for myself. Okay, so again, if I'm correct with my picks and none of these numbers come up that are blocked out, then I'm really close to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to those groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerballs land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so this is for the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and they all kind of look the same as far as the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, as I go through back to the Powerball homepage, the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 10, 33, 45, 53, and 56. Okay, so here in the option card number 4, okay, so you can see that the 10 is red, okay, the 33 is red, and the 45 is red. Okay, so there's 3 red numbers, so you can see I have a 3 down here. Okay, and then in the orange I have 1. Okay, and that's for the 53, and I have 1 in the green, and that's for the 56. Okay, so you can see that there's no winning numbers in the blue, so I put a 0, and when the 0 pops up I put a blue mark. Okay, and that's so I could have some separation. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these blue marks are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers would come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these blue numbers and really gave myself that much of a better chance at guessing what the 5 white winning Powerballs would be. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to go back to option card number 2. And I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. Okay? And the reason why, for me, is because there's a single 0 here, a single 0 here, and as I keep on going down, you can see that there's a bunch of other singles. Okay? And then down here, it finally doubled up or quadrupled up. Okay? So I just think that it's due to double up, like right over here. Okay? So I'm going to guess that this is going to be a 0 right here, and that means that I don't believe that any of these blue numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. So you can see that all those blue numbers are gone. Okay, so here you can see that the 67 is right here. Okay, that actually shares the square with the 19. Okay, so when I'm getting rid of all these numbers right here, I'm getting rid of the 67 and the 19 together as a group with all the other numbers here. Okay, so basically what I like to call it is that 19 and 67 share this square. So if I eliminate this square right here, I'm going to eliminate the 19 and the 67 at the same time. Okay, so why I have these numbers off here to the outside of it here, these 5 numbers, okay, is because this grid is good for 64 numbers, and you can see the 64 right here. Okay, so I had to make room for the 65, 66, 67, 68, and 69. Okay, so basically what I did is I put the 25 out here, and this shares the square with the 65. Okay. So why I did that and why I didn't cram this 25 in with the 65 is because of the color code. Okay, so I needed some separation because you can see that the 25 for this drawing is orange and the 65 for this drawing is green. Okay, so if I wanted to get rid of all the green numbers, I would have got rid of the 65, but the 25 still would have been in play. Okay, so I'm back to group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card number 5, no green numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 5. And the reason why I'm picking this one, and again, we're all going to look at this a little bit different, okay? But for me, I see that this is 16 drawings in a row where one of these green numbers have hit, okay? So one of these green numbers have come up in the last 16 drawings, and I just think that is due to miss, okay? So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up in the next drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. All right, so now I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 9, no red numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go to option card number 9, and again, I have 15 of these, okay? So why I'm picking this red is because every once in a while, this will triple up. These zeros will triple up. And as I go through things here, I just haven't seen a triple come up in a very long time. Okay, so there it is right there. Okay, that's the only one. And I just think that it's due to hit again. Okay, so I think that it's ready for another triple. So I think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these red numbers are going to come up in the drawing. So I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far, okay, and all these numbers that I say aren't going to come up, don't come up, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these numbers still left on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back for one more pick in group 1 here, and that's option card 15, no blue numbers. So again, all these option cards look the same as far as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so here over here you can see this row, and what that row means is that all 4 colors came up, okay, in the last drawing, okay? So that just helps things stand out. Okay, so when there's 2 rows in a row like this, okay, usually there's a miss, okay? For some reason, you can see that here there was 2 rows in a row, and then the next one, the miss was right here in the blue section, okay? So I think that that's going to happen again, okay? So just because it went 11 drawings in a row, that one of these blue numbers did come up in the drawings, I just think that is due to miss, and I think that this is going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these blue numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. So I'm going to get rid of them. And I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. All right, so I'm all done with group 1. So now I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. And I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so again, I keep stats for this red area down here. So if a winning Powerball number lands within this red, then I'll mark it down here in the stats. Okay? So again, you look at this and you see that there's 8 squares, but there's actually 9 numbers because the 25 shares the square with the 65. Okay, so If I decide to eliminate all these red numbers, then I'm going to eliminate the 25 and the 65 and with all the other numbers as a group. Okay, so everything's in a group. Okay, so as I go down, I like to keep a track record of every 5 drawings. Okay, and that way it will show me a majority of things. Okay, so you can see with this one, you can see that there's 3 zeros here. So if there's 3 or more zeros, I color the background blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so as I go down through, if something has been very, very hot, well, eventually it's going to cool down. Okay, so you can see that this red got very, very hot here. Okay, so my first pick in Group 2 is this option card number 1, no purple numbers. Okay, so as I go back up through here, here's the stats for the purple. And as I go back down through, you can see that things got really, really hot, and now I think it's going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, which means that I don't believe that any of these purple numbers are going to come up in the drawing. So I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate those purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll to the left. Okay. So I'm going to just go back down to 90% here. Okay, so you can see at the bottom, Group 2, option card number 1, no purple numbers. And you can see that there's no purple numbers right through here. Okay, so again, hopefully I'm correct with my pick, and none of those purple numbers come up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 2, and my next pick is option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, so much like Group 1, I have 15 of these option numbers as well, of these option cards as well. Okay, so again, here's the stats for the yellow, and as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. And now I just think that things are going to cool off, and I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all those yellow numbers off of the game card. And again, the yellow numbers are the 65 to the 28 and the 61 to the 64. Okay, so the only one left is the 65, and that shares the square with the 25. So I'm going to get rid of those both at the same time. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. So you can see that I'm whittling down the numbers here. All right, step by step. All right, and now I'm going to go back to Group 2. And my next pick is option card number 5, no blue numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 5. Here's the stats for the blue. And as I head down through, you can see that things got kind of hot here. Okay, and now I just think that things are going to stay really cold. So I think there's going to be another 0 right here. Okay, so as I head back up, I don't believe that any of these blue numbers will be coming up, so I'm going to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see the only one left is the 31. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I just got 2 more picks here. Okay, so my next one is option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the green. And as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot at first. Okay, and they kind of stayed hot. So here, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up in the drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so the only one left is the 49 and 68. So I'm going to scroll to the left, and you can see that those are gone now. Okay, so I'm really getting down there now, and I'm going to go back for one more pick, and that's at option card number 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's option card 14, and here's the gray. Okay, so as I head down through, you can see that things got really hot right there. Okay, it's still hot, and now I think they're going to cool off, and I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all the gray numbers that are still left on the game card. Okay, so you can see these numbers are, I believe the only one left is the 41. Okay, right here, the 41. So as I scroll down, sorry folks, having a little trouble with my computer here. Okay, so down here, group 2, option card number 14, no gray numbers. You can see that that 41 is gone. Okay, so that's all the numbers that I'm going to eliminate off the game card here. Okay, so I started off with 69 numbers, and now I'm down to 6. All right, so if I made all the correct picks, and the magic word here is if I made all the correct picks, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be within these 6 numbers still left on the board. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so why I came up with this is because one time, a long time ago, I got this down to 10 numbers, okay? And the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10, okay? I only got 2 numbers correct, but that's when I realized that I thought I was really on to something here when I reduced the numbers down to 10 numbers, okay? So here with the 50-50 picks, this is really going to help me pinpoint what I think is going to come up. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so let me go over a little bit on how this works. Okay, over here, this 258. This tells me how many drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and that goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 258 drawings, 132 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 126 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think the majority will be even numbers. Okay, so when I do pick my 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent at least 3 even numbers. Okay, so as I go through here, you can see that this is for high and low. All the red numbers are considered high, and all the low numbers are considered low. All the blue numbers are considered low. Okay, so you can see that the 67, 65, and 66 are here in the blue. So when those come up, I do record it as a low number. Okay, so it only matters on how I record things in the stats. Okay, so out of the total here, the majority to the high side has been 127 drawings compared to 131 for the low numbers. Okay, so next is left and right. So you can see that this is dead even here, okay, which is amazing to me. Okay, so out of all those drawings, 129 have been the majority to the left side, and 129 have been the majority to the right side. Okay, and then my last one is this red and blue area here. Okay, you can see that the red really has the majority over blue. 147 drawings to 111. That the majority has been in this red area here. Okay, so one last thing that I have. This is for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is for this red number right here. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers total. Okay, so in this column, if you see a blue number, that means that it's a low, 1 to 13. Okay, and if you see a red number, that means it's considered high, 14 to 26. Okay, so in this column here, if you see a red number, then that means that it's odds. And if you see a blue number, that means that it's evens. Okay, so now I just get to look at the colors. Okay, so if I see a lot of colors, like right down here, I see a lot of blue, well, eventually it's going to turn red. And if I could correctly guess when that's going to happen, then I know that it's going to be an odd number. Okay, so, and that really cuts things down. So for this drawing here, I think that this is going to be blue, okay, which means that it's a low number, okay, and I think that this will be blue as well. So I think it's going to be a low even number for the Powerball. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. And for the 50-50 picks, the only one that I feel comfortable picking is that I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so as I go on, I'm going to go to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to stay on group 2 here. Okay, so again, there's 15 option cards total. Okay, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so what that means is that there's 15 red areas, there's 15 blue areas, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that, and I call that the group 2 overview. Okay, so I'm going to go to the group 2 overview right now. Okay, and here it is right here. Okay, so what this tells me is that there's been 258 drawings so far over here. Okay, and right here in the red areas, out of the 15 option cards, there was 10 hits and 5 misses, which equals 15. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. Okay, so if 8 of these option cards have a hit to it, I color it red for hot. If 8 of these option cards have a miss to it, 8 misses to it, then I color it blue for cold. Okay, so here's another thing where I could just look at the colors and try to guess when it's going to be red or blue. Okay, so for this orange one, I think it's going to be red. Okay, and I think the blue one too. Actually, just the blue. I think that this orange is going to be blue again. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of misses in those orange areas. Okay, so over here, this 4, this tells me how many red marks there are. I only count the red marks. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and over here, this 60-60, that's how many hits there are total and misses. So if you add up all the hits, this 10, this 6, this 7, this 9, this 8, this 6, this 10, and the 4 is going to come up to 60. Okay, so over here, there's a lot more misses than there was hits. Okay, so I colored this blue for cold, and down here, there's a lot more hits than there was misses, so I color it red. Okay, so now I try to guess, again, what the color is going to be. Okay, so if this is going to be red, then I know that there's going to be a lot of hits within these areas here. Okay, so as I go back to group 2, okay, here, option card number 1, again, I think there's going to be a lot of blue numbers. So I'm going to scroll to the right here. Okay, so I think there's going to be lots of hits among the blue areas of group 2. Okay, so here's option card number 1. So as I go back to that group 2 number here, okay, option card number 1, the blue area is from the 2 down to the 68. Okay, so as I go back, the only one left is the 18. So I wrote that right up here, 18. Okay, so as I go back to group 2, you can see that the other blue area is from the 9 over to the 16. Okay, so here's the 9 over to the 16. The only one that's left is the 9. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards. I'm going to have to reduce this down. So I did that with all 15 option cards, and these are the numbers that I came up with. Okay, so I'm off to the last strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so as I scroll over here, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 9, 18, 33, 38, and 48. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this will give me 9 hits and 6 misses for that blue area. Okay, so as I go back to the Group 2 overview, okay, again, I think there's going to be a 9 right here and a 6. And because it's more than 8 hits, I think it's going to be red, just like that. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and again, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 9, 18, 33, 38, and 48. Okay, folks, I appreciate you watching. Okay, again, what I'm looking to do here is build a community where people share their picks using my game/system. So if you're interested in using my game and would like to meet others using my game to share picks, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, and if you'd like to send me some feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, if you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Other than that, I always like to wish people the best of luck with your picks.